Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So I am one half of Friends Till the Book Ends. I'm Lindsay, I'm the fantasy fan. So we wanted to kind of do a fun, different kind of vlog style situation this week because I'm on vacation at the beach. So I thought I'd kind of bring you guys along as I read, got sunburnt, you know, ate ice cream, got drinks, the whole 9 yards. So I wanted to kind of walk you guys through the books that I brought with me. I did finish a book yesterday already. This is our second day at the beach, so I kind of was able to zoom through one quickly, and that was series Moonlight by Jenn Bennett. This book follows a girl named Birdie who was raised in a conservative household with her grandparents who homeschooled her, so she never went to a real high school. She never really made friends. And so one night she's at a diner and she meets a boy and they hook up. And she like runs away right after it happens, and she's like, I hope I don't have to see him again because that was really awkward. And then she gets a job, and at her new job she finds the boy, and that boy Daniel, who she hooked up with, actually works at the same hotel that she does. I thought this was cute. I ended up giving it like a 3.5 star. It's definitely my least favorite Jenn Bennett book. I gave Alex approximately 5 stars, series Moonlight 4 stars, and Chasing Lucky 4 stars. So this one is my least favorite of the group. I just didn't really connect to the characters, and I thought that there was kind of one overarching plot line that I didn't like necessarily. I thought it was kind of a weird placement for it, but it wasn't bad. It was a fun, quick read, obviously, since I was able to read it in one day. But it was. So the next book that I started in on today is Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. This is the first book in a series that also has the Da Vinci Code in it, and to be honest, that's the book that I'm really gunning for. But this was the first book published, so I wanted to read this book first before I moved on to the Da Vinci Code. But I'm about 54 pages into it. I don't really have any feelings thus far. It's kind of fine. I was hoping for like more exciting National Treasure vibes that I'm not getting yet, but I am still holding out hope that this is going to be very exciting. In it, we're following a symbologist. His name is Robert Langdon, and he is summoned to this research facility because someone has been murdered, and they believe that the Illuminati are behind it. So he kind of has to use his knowledge of symbols and secret organizations to figure out who murdered this guy and why. But I'm hoping that it's National Treasure vibes. So next are a couple of contemporary books that sounded really fun and cute for the summer. The first one is I'll Be the One by Lila Lee, and this follows a girl who wants to be a K-pop star, but her mom doesn't approve, so she decides that she's going to be the first like plus-sized bisexual K-pop star. So she enters some sort of competition, and I believe that there's a romance, and I have been obsessed with K-dramas. You have Pearse Project, aka Reagan, to thank for that, because she really got me on the trend of K-dramas, and they're so fun and I love it, and this one sounds kind of reminiscent of that. And the other one that I also picked up is Made in Korea by Sarah Sook, and this is following Valerie, who runs her school's most successful student-run enterprise where she, I believe, sells K-beauty products. And then there's a boy whose name is Wes who transfers to her school, and in order to kind of gain friends and popularity or whatever, his mom gives him these K-pop branded beauty products in order to kind of pass them out and be like, hey, be friends with me, which is bribery, I support. But it starts to decrease Valerie's business, so then there becomes kind of this like animosity between the two. But I believe it's a hate to love. This cover is so cute. I love it. So I have high hopes for this one. I brought a lot of books because I'm a little bit of a mood reader, so I wanted to make sure that I had options for if I was feeling like mystery one day, that I had a mystery. If I was feeling like contemporary, I had a contemporary. So the next book that I brought is The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. This is the first Hercule Poirot. I can't say that word. That is the first in this mystery series. Some of the more famous ones are like the ABC Murders, Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile. So I wanted to kind of start from the beginning and see where this goes. I don't know anything about this book other than it's Agatha Christie and it's a murder mystery, which is beachy and fun, at least in my mind. So the next book that I brought was for if I'm feeling like I'm in a fantasy mood, which I'm not sure if I will be, but like I said, I wanted to try. I wanted to make sure that I had some options. So that is Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I believe this follows a girl who's half kitsune and half human, and there's a mysterious samurai, I think, that is charged with hunting her down. or something. So I believe this is also kind of a hate to love, but I've heard good things about it. It's really cool. I've heard that it's very much in the style of like an anime, and I really like anime, so I'm excited to read this. And the last physical book that I brought with me is Warcross by Marie Lu. I picked this up because Danielle was obsessed with it earlier this year. And essentially we're following a girl named Amika Chen. She hacks her way into this like world famous game, and then she gets a call from the game's creator, and it says that he makes her an offer she can't refuse. It's a sinister plot with major consequences, so it sounds like she has to kind of thwart something. But I heard this is really, obviously Danielle's obsessed with it. I've heard good things about it. Science fiction video game, so it reminds me kind of Ready Player One, which was one of my favorite books I read last year. So I think this one will be a really fun, good read for the beach. And then to run through the audiobooks that I have Finlay, Donovan is Killing It, which is one of my most anticipated books of the year. I had no idea that this book was coming out until I heard people start talking about it, and then all of a sudden I feel like everybody's been obsessed with it. So in it, I believe we're following Finlay Donovan, who's a writer, and she meets with her editor or someone like that at a Panera Bread, where she's discussing about her latest like murder mystery novel, and somebody overhears her and thinks that she is a contract killer, like a killer for hire. So she leaves a note on Finlay Donovan's car and is like, hey, if you murder my husband, I'll give you X amount of money. And Finlay Donovan is like, I need this money, I'm gonna go for it. So I've heard it's really funny and quirky and weird, and it sounds like such a good time. And the other audiobook that I have for this week is The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. I really love murder mysteries in the summertime. I read The Turn of the Key last vacation and I gave it a 5 stars. And so I have high hopes that The Death of Mrs. Westaway will also be a 5 stars. So here's my outfit for the day. I'm burnt as fuck, but I thought I'd include a little clip of my outfit. It's a dress that I got from Aerie. It's very cute. I love it. Now I'm burnt, so yay. It's me again. So today is kind of a rainy, dreary day out here at the beach, so we're kind of having an indoor activities day. So I'm going to continue reading Angels and Demons, and hopefully I start something else. I did start the audiobook of Finlay Donovan is Killing It, and so far it is living up to expectations. It's really funny. So I'm only like 10% into that, but I have already laughed out loud. I thought it was so funny. So I'm really hoping that the rest of the audiobook goes well. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading Angels and Demons. Hopefully it picks up a little bit. But yeah, I will check in with you guys later. Hey guys, I just wanted to go ahead and check in because I have finished a book. I have finished Angels and Demons by Dan Brown, and I ended up giving this 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite book. I felt that it was interesting. I'm hoping that I'd like the Da Vinci Code more. Essentially in this one we're following a symbologist who gets called in to investigate this crime where a scientist has been murdered, and on his chest is the Illuminati brand. Now everyone thinks that the Illuminati have died out in the past like 100 years, but this is supposed to be like their hey, we're back bitches kind of thing. And the Illuminati are essentially a group of scientists who are very anti-religion, and so the Catholic Church and the Illuminati have kind of been pitted against each other and during the centuries, and famous people like Galileo, Isaac Newton, etc. have all been part of the Illuminati. And I liked that this was like, it was fast-paced, adventurous. The whole thing takes place over the course of like 24 hours, and it's almost a 500-page book. So a lot happens in the span of the 24 hours. So yeah, it just kind of was a little unbelievable. Like all the plot twists were wild, like the Pope is involved, and there's like these super secret like antimatter, which is like this newly discovered like energy source that could like destroy the world. I don't know, the whole thing was like a wee bit far-fetched. Like not that National Treasure is realistic, but I assumed it was going to be like slightly more realistic. But it was still like fine. Like that's why it was a 3 stars. It was still good. It just was like a little too unbelievable for me. I also started Made in Korea by Sarah Suk. I'm about, I think, 120 pages into it. So I can kind of talk about it a little bit more. But in it, we're following Valerie, who runs her own like K-beauty business out of her locker in high school. Her uncle lives in Korea, and he sends over shipments of these beauty products, and she sells them for a discount at her high school. And she's using the money that she's making in order to take her grandmother to Paris because she's always wanted to go. And in comes Wes, who's our new boy, and Wes just wants to make friends, and his mom works for this famous K-pop band called, I think, Crown Tiger. And so since she's involved in like their merchandising line, she has a lot of beauty products that are marketed with the Crown Tiger logo and things like that. So he starts selling those products accidentally one day, and then it kind of becomes a competition between Valerie and Wes, because Wes wants to make money to go to music school and his parents don't approve, so he knows that he has to kind of make his own way financially. He also needs to fix his beloved saxophone. And already right away I can tell that there's a little bit of chemistry between the two, which I'm really enjoying, and it's making for like a really fun, quick read. It hasn't taken me that long to get through like a third of the book, and I'm really liking it. And then I'm also about 35% into Finlay Donovan is Killing It, and this is a funny book. Because obviously Finlay Donovan gets roped into killing this man, and things just have escalated from there. There's like a babysitter that gets involved, and there's kind of like a crime within a crime that's happening here. So she kind of has to figure out like who committed the second crime, and it's all very funny. And Finlay is a really likable character, and she just is like, the world is throwing all kinds of shit at her, and she just has to like take it. But yeah, so far good to go. I'll update you guys later. Guys, I just wanted to come back and film the end of our vlog. So I have returned from the beach. I am sunburnt. and happy, but I just wanted to quickly recap what I read for you guys. So the first book that I read this week was series Moonlight by Jenn Bennett. I ended up giving this one a 3.5 stars. I liked the quirkiness of the characters and I thought it was cute, but I just thought that some plot lines were like overused too much and I just didn't connect quite the same way, and I also felt like the main love interest kept a really big secret the entire time that I personally would never have forgiven him for. So that's why I kind of got a 3.5. It's my least favorite Jenn Bennett book, but I still liked it. So then I finished Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. This one was a 3-star for me. I felt like it was very fun. It was very action-packed, but I thought that some of the plot points were like so unbelievable. And I know you kind of have to suspend your disbelief for a book like this, but it was like National Treasure on crack, and I didn't think it could get any crackier than National Treasure, so this one was just a little too much for me. I'm really hoping though that the Da Vinci Code is going to be fantastic, because I've heard more good things about that book than this one, so I think that one will probably be more towards my taste. And then lastly, I finished Made in Korea by Sarah Suk, and I ended up giving this one a 3-star as well. This one was kind of disappointing for me personally because, first of all, this cover is fantastic. I also felt like it was kind of very insta-lovey. It's like enemies to lovers, but the enemies part is like really drawn out, and then they just kind of like are, oh, we're in love at the end. So I kind of felt like that was too fast. Also, I didn't like how this book is only like 320 pages, but it takes place over the course of an entire school year. So you meet the characters at the beginning of September and then you follow them all the way through June. And each chapter is kind of like taking place over like a certain month. And I feel like that just made it so that we didn't really get a whole lot of actual time with the characters. Like, we had big time gaps, but we didn't get to actually spend a lot of time with them, if that makes sense. But I thought Wes was really cute. I didn't really particularly like Valerie as the main character. She was really she just was very black and white and very one-dimensional for me, but I thought Wes was a sweetheart and he was really cute, and I also really liked the cousin Charlie, but Valerie was not my fave, so this one was kind of disappointing. I also finished Finlay, Donovan Is Not Killing It by Elise Cosimano, something like that, or Elle Cosimano. I'm so sorry to this author. I ended up giving this book a 4 stars. I thought it was really fun. I thought the audiobook was really great. I really love the narrator, and this is going to be a series, which is really exciting. But I laughed out loud reading this book. I thought it was ridiculous, but it was supposed to be kind of everything has gone wrong and Finlay has to just fucking deal with it. So that was really fun to read, and I thought that the ending was kind of like a good setup for the second novel, and I'm interested to see there's some love intrigue happening, and then some more murders happening, but it was really good and I really enjoyed reading it. I thought it was a really good beach read. I forgot to mention at the start of this vlog that I had been listening to a different audiobook for the first 2 days of my trip. I had read, or I had listened to like 80% of it before I got to the beach, but I thought I'd just chat about it. And that is The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse. I ended up really not liking this book. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I thought that it started off really strong. So in it, we're following a UK police officer named Ellen who is taking some time off from her job because she had a really traumatizing case, as well as some childhood PTSD that she's still trying to deal with. So she's taking some time off and she's going to this like sanatorium turned into resort in, I think it's in Switzerland, for her brother Isaac's wedding to her childhood friend Lore. But when she gets there, Lore disappears and there are some murders that happen and she has to kind of figure out what's going on. She also has some beef with her brother Isaac, and so they don't get along. And once again, this was just a case of unlikable character. I thought that the first half of the book was pretty strong. I really enjoyed these like snowy, it's the exact opposite of the beach, but I really enjoyed this like snowy Alp setting. It was kind of fun and different. And then the idea that the sanatorium, so sanatorium is essentially like a hospital where people went to like get better in the olden days, but it truly just, people just like experimented on them, and it was, a lot of sanatoriums are horrible and they have really tragic, twisted histories that you know, are bad. So I thought that it was a really interesting setting to have the sanatorium be turned into like a hotel kind of thing, a luxury hotel. And I thought that the setting was really cool. And then the premise was interesting where the killers are kind of dressed up in a gas mask situation that was reminiscent of what they used to wear in the sanatoriums. So I thought that was added kind of another layer of spookiness. But overall, in the end, the reveal was just so subpar, and it was kind of like mild spoilers, not too bad spoilers, but just like baby spoilers. But like you come to the conclusion like 3/4 of the way through that you know who did it. So, you know, the character thinks they know who did it, and they lay out a very convincing case, but then it turns out to not be that person, and so then they're like, oh, okay, it must be this person, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is really the reveal, and then it doesn't turn out to be that person either, and so you end up going through like 3 or 4 different suspects like towards the very end, where you're like, okay, this must be it, because like we're winding down, and then you finally get to the real person, and you're like, what? Like the reasons for what they did almost are, I don't know, it just didn't seem plausible. And I know, once again, it's like a mystery thriller, it's not supposed to be plausible, but like for me, I didn't jive with it. Like it's kind of a revenge story, kind of, I don't know, it just didn't work for me, so I ended up giving it like a 2.5. But yeah, so I listened to that one, like I said, for the first couple days of my trip to finish it off, but I thought I'd mention it because I'm not sure when else I'd talk about it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. It was really fun kind of taking you guys along with me to the beach and getting to do some good beach reads. I was a little bit disappointed by my reads this year. Last year I ended up reading, I think, 4 or 5-star books down at the beach, so I was kind of hoping that this year would be the same, but it wasn't. But that's okay, you can't always win. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in our next video. Bye!